Hello friends, welcome to my Blessed Crochet channel. Today I teach you how to knit this beautiful scarf that is easy to knit. Get ready because we are already starting. Friends, if I tell you how much this scarf weighs you will believe me. With only 167g, which I am going to show you below. 167g, the total of this beautiful scarf. I show you friends this nice scarf. I will show you the stitch first. So that at home once and for all, like it and fall in love. We are going to measure it now. How long is this scarf? 167g, nothing more friends, is woven with a thread of acrylic. See how beautiful the stitch is. One acrylic thread, and let's see how tall it is. It is important to know how long it is actually. Okay, I've made it this thin, I haven't made it thick. But it is quite long in length. Want to see how long it measures too? Well, now I'm going to show you the width first. Width measures. And let's see how long it is. Yes, we will see. Then let's put our tape measure here. And since there is not much space, I'm going to go gradually unfolding the scarf, so that at home they can see how much it is. And I'm not going to pull it. Look. I will hold only from up here my tape. I'm going to bring my scarf and I'm going to wear it again. Here, yes. I'm not going to throw this scarf on them to see there. At home. Anyway, I'm going to show them to you right now. Already has more than 1 friends. And remember, it is only 167g. That this is going to be the coolest thing. We are going to save a lot of thread. Here we are touring. Has already reached 1.5 meters, yes, up to here. Is already 1.5 m. What do you think? Okay, let's put here the mark I'm going to hold. And I'm going to go back a little bit to keep measuring it. From here to where it ends. Okay, let's go. Is going to stay here, look. There it is. Is a little crumpled. If they owe me centimeters, my friends, has a total of 196. Yes, we add the 150 plus the 46. 1 m with 96 centimeters, almost 2 m, so let's knit it. For this we will need a material this thin. Is a material of the number 3. Yes, and we are going to use a little hook this time. 5.50 or 5.5 mm. We will need our scissors. And a wool skirt. Or stamen. We start. I'm going to work. On this occasion with a number 3 wool. And a 5.5 mm crochet. Is in this case. You can use any wool you have. Close to home. And always the most important. That fits your nurse's needs. Let's start by securing our first stitch. And we are going to start weaving a row of chains. More or less the long you need. Once that you already have the number of chains you need, let's pass this. And in the chain that follows, on the upside down side, I'm going to start with single stitch. Next I will pass and U-stitch. Single. Next. Single stitch, in which it follows. Single stitch. And so I will go taking all remaining knots on the upside down side of the chain. Here is the chain. And we continue to work in these knots to complete my entire tour. This is my number 1 round. Complete my whole turn. Let's go for the last stitch. In single stitch. Once this round is over, which is round number 1, let's make him a twist chain. And from this first space, I'm going to take this little piece of wool to lose it. At the same time, I'm going to start knitting the next one. Single stitch, return. Single stitch, taking the whole chain, look at it. The whole chain, and we lose the little piece of wool. Single stitch until we complete our entire tour. I have already lost a little bit of the material, and what I do is throw a little short and accommodation, and we continue to weave full single stitch, single stitch, and single stitch. And this is how it will stay. I am going to complete this entire round number 2. Once round number 2 is finished, I raise 2 chains. I twist this first stitch. I am not going to knit it, because it is the equivalent of these 2 chains. I move on to the next stitch and teju double crochet. At the stitch following, double crochet. And double crochet, I will be weaving a double crochet for each space until the end of all my way around. Double crochet to the end. Once my return is over, let's go up with 2 chains. This first space I will not knit it, because it is the equivalent of the 2 chains. The next space I will pass without knitting. That continues to leave a double crochet. Then I will have these 2 spaces here. Now I'm going to move on to this stitch that I passed without knitting, this one. I'm going to take it embossed and knit half double crochet in a single time. I'm going to pass this one is already woven. I'm going to pass this one without knitting, and in the one that follows, a double crochet. And I come back to this stitch that I passed without knitting and shuffle half double crochet in a single time. Step, this is already taken step stitch without knitting, and in which it follows a double crochet, and return through the previous stitch and U half double crochet. Again, this one is already taken. I pass a stitch without knitting, and where it follows a double crochet, and return to the stitch that I pass without knitting and shuffle half double crochet. And this must be done until the round is completed. This one is already taken. I pass an unwoven stitch with the next double stitch and return and cut the half double crochet. I pass a stitch This one is already taken step a stitch without knitting double stitch. And I return to the stitch we passed without knitting. Look at this one is already taken. And I make half double crochet. And this until I complete my entire tour. Here to finish my return. I have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, and the edge stitch. I pass a stitch without knitting and at the stitch that follows. A double crochet and return. And shuffle half double crochet. And I'm going to stop by here. To the edge stitch and we weave. A double crochet. And that's how I finish this one, which is round number 4. Round number 5. A chain and I'm going to weave from this one. This is the height chain and this is the double crochet. The last one Then let's knit a single stitch. Next step single stitch. And single stitch I'm going to weave a single stitch look. For each stitch of the previous round. Single stitch and single stitch. Until I complete my entire tour. And this is how it will look like. I will complete my entire round a single stitch. For each space and return. I am about to finish this one, which is my return. Of single stitches. Here I have the last stitch. And on the chains. Here to close I am going to make the color change. Before closing. I make the color change. Here in this part. A chain. Tour. Let's adjust this part. Look at this one, we are going to adjust it and we are going to take it. And I will be weaving from the first stitch. Use single stitch. Next I'm going to go with the little piece of wool. Single stitch. And single stitch and in this part. I am going to cut this one. And I'm going to stay now, just with these 2 little pieces of wool. That I will lose as I move forward. Single stitch. And single stitch to complete my entire tour. Once you have lost these little pieces of wool, we will do the same process. We threw a little bit. And we are going to cut. We adjust. And now we can continue weaving. 1 single stitch for each space. To see here single stitch and single stitch complete my return. Once my whole tour is over, I am going to do 1, 2 chains and we will repeat round number 3. Which is the double crochet turn. First stitch step without knitting, because it is the equivalent of the 2 chains. Next double crochet. Double crochet. And double crochet and this until we complete our entire tour. Once my return is over, I will do the following. Let's knit him. 2 chains. And we are going to repeat our return, which is this. Round number 4. And to do so, we are going to pass this stitch without weaving, which is the equivalent of the 2 chains. I pass this stitch and I will return for it. And at the following stitch, I leave a double crochet. And I come back to this stitch that I passed without knitting. In relief and half stitch. This stitch is already woven. Here you can see, I pass a stitch without knitting and where it follows a double crochet. And I return for the stitch I passed without knitting. And I knit it half double crochet. Step in which it follows double crochet. And I return for the stitch I passed without knitting. And shuffle half double crochet. And so it would be, repeating the same process of round number 4. Yes, we will do a single stitch one later. And change the color part again. I will complete this round. And until this moment, my friend, if you stayed, leave me your name and where you write to us from. I would like to know. I'm going to lead the way and I'll be back for the final part. I want to show you friends here. And finally, we have to remember 3 stitches, don't we? Okay, step 1. Double crochet and return. Relief stitch and finish. About the second chain, let's see, here it is. And knit a double crochet. A chain. And we repeat the single stitch round again. Here, from the first stitch I will start knitting single stitch. And single stitch, good friends. We have already finished the next reason. Reason number 2. And so we will be lengthening after this. Even if you want to make the color change, you can do it. We will be weaving as much as we need. Width of our scarf. Now we are going to knit him, the width, and we are going back to make him. For the bottom part. Yes, and if it requires any other detail, we can do it. I'm going to get a little ahead of the curve and come back. I want to show you friends. How has this scarf turned out? I'm going to show you a little more closely. I have placed in this case a cappuccino motif. 2 in white. And at the end 1 in cappuccino, and I left 2 rounds of single stitches. Yes, these last 2 rounds, which were the last 2 rounds. The 2 of 1 turns. This is how it looks on one side. This is how I'm going to stay on the other side, and here. I can now remove and cut. Here in this part. Now who can also put bangs on it or can be an edge at the bottom. For example, in this case, to make the edge. We could do it in white if you prefer it. Or in cappuccino color. If you don't want to white color. And you translate it in cappuccino, you can do it myself, to give it as a different cut. Because if we do it in cappuccino, we could already be framing this part right. Then they're at home. I leave it to your choice. If you are going to make a color change, short, and if no need to cut, okay, we leave it like this. Now for make the edge part 1, make a chain here. On the last round. I pass and knit a single stitch. Remember that there are 2 single stitch rounds. Here I am going to make a single stitch. And then we have this part, which is the one about the double crochet. Then I'll pass here and leave 2. 1 and 2 where the double stitch ones are, let's weave 2. Here is another one of double crochet and you 2 1. And 2, yes, to 2 for each double crochet round. And then there are 2 single stitch rounds. Here we weave 1. And in the next round. Single stitch and then we go here and do 2. Which are the double crochet. And then I'll stop by and we'll make 2 more, do you think? And so we will be weaving One where the single stitch round is and two. Where are the double crochet turns? I will do this until I complete this round. I am about to finish one here. 2 1 and 2. Because those are the turns of the double crochets, right? And now there are 1 and 2. Which are the turns of the single stitches? And then follow the 2 double crochet turns 1 2. Here we do 1 and 2 and I finish with 2 1. And 2, and in this part this is how it will look like. There is a little bit left there is a little bit wider. That the height. So here's what we're going to do, friends. So that it is not open. Change 5.5 millimeters hook to 4 millimeters hook. Here is 4 millimeters hook. With one single stitch for each space. With small hook they think it's okay. I will complete this round first, to see how it decreases a little. Once this second round has been completed. Here we have already cut. And we have already lost this little piece of wool. And the same thing, look at how it has turned out. I will do the same on the opposite side. This is how I'm going to stay. And if you want you can place your bangs on it. Or whatever you need at the bottom, they think. Good friends. I will do the same on the opposite side. And return. And I show you how the final result turned out. I want to show you friends. How the final result has turned out. Of this beautiful scarf. I loved the stitch. With very few grams I was able to achieve it. A scarf for pets. That you can also use by your friend. That's the upside down side. If you found it helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel Blessend Crochet, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new project. See you in the next video with more creative ideas. See you soon.